Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make homemade crackers that are ready to eat in just 15 minutes. If you are looking for a healthy, quick, and fast homemade snack, this is definitely it. My name is Melissa from melissaknorris.com and the Pioneering Today podcast, and I am so excited to share with you these crackers because you will never want to buy crackers again from the store after you taste how delicious these are with just a few basic whole food ingredients. Now you can use any type of flour that you want to make these. I have tested them with all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, and fresh ground flour. I love the flavor using hard white wheat and fresh ground flour. So we're gonna start that off and get our flour ready. So right at a cup, we're gonna go ahead and pour that in, and then I just need another quarter cup. We have all of our flour here in the mixing bowl. This is a super basic and simple recipe, but it tastes amazing. You can do all different kinds of flavor variations that you want using the chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of smoked paprika happens to be our favorite. And to get the printable version of this recipe with the exact measurements, it's on the blog at melissaknorris.com, and I'll link to it below in the video description. So just add all of our dry ingredients together. And I just kind of incorporate those, mix it together real quick. And then I've got my chilled butter here already cut up, and we're gonna just incorporate that into the flour. You're just gonna cut it in just like if you were making biscuits. You wanna cut in the butter to the flour until it kind of resembles the size of peas and is fully incorporated into your dry ingredients. Next, we're going to add in our liquids. First up, we have a tablespoon of honey. And you just kind of want to drizzle this over your dough. Next, we have a quarter cup of water, but you're just going to add enough water until the dough begins to hold together. So you may not need to use all of it. You want just enough liquids until the dough begins to hold together. The best way to test that is to actually use your hands. Once your dough begins to come together and form into clumps like this, then you can take your hand and push it together, and if it's holding, once it holds together, then we're ready to roll it out and make our crackers. Now I find that the easiest way to roll it out with the least amount of mess and fuss is just to roll your cracker dough right onto the cookie sheet. I do like to sprinkle it with just a little bit of flour, so I'm gonna go ahead and grind up just enough to put onto my rolling pin and a little bit on the cookie sheet here. Now we'll take our dough and put it together into one solid form. And we're just gonna press that out. If it feels a little bit dry, go ahead and add just a sprinkle of water right on top. Okay, once we have got a formable dough ball here, now I'm just gonna put it right down on my cookie sheet and flatten that out. Just use the palm of your hand. And I kind of try to press it down fairly even. And if it cracks a little bit on top, it just means it's a little bit dry, so you can just use a little bit more water to just sprinkle on the top. Now we're just gonna roll this out. You can also use a piece of parchment paper to help keep it from sticking, and that's going to help flatten it out even better. With crackers, we really want this dough to be very thin. go ahead and check it. So this is getting thin, but you want it even thinner than what you would do for a pie crust. There we go. Now it's time to form our crackers. You can use cookie cutters to cut out your crackers or biscuit cutters, whatever you want to cut them out. But I find the fastest and the easiest way is to just use a pizza cutter to just cut them out into squares. Now I use salted butter, so these don't need a lot of salt, but I like to sprinkle them on top with just a little bit of a sea salt right before they go into the oven. Then these we will bake for just 10 minutes. Now at 10 minutes, you'll want to take them out, and the outer edges are always thinner than the center, and remove those crackers first. And then put it back in the oven and check it in about 2 minutes. After a few more minutes, you'll want to pull the crackers out just when the outer edges are beginning to brown, and then let them cool on the cookie sheet. It will help them crisp up even more. So after these have fully cooled, you can just transfer them to a plate. Now, honestly, these are so good that we have rarely kept any of them in the house for me to tell you how long they will store. For longer than a day or two. In fact, we usually go through the whole batch in one day. So I'm just saying, you may or may not want to make a double batch of these. But I have kept them in a sealed container. You can use a Ziploc bag. I've put them in a mason jar and just put a canning lid down and tightened the ring. And they've kept that way. I think the longest that I kept them that way was 3 days, and they did still stay crisp. Like I said, you can go and snag this printable recipe at the blog. Pretty sure these won't still be around by tomorrow.